Okay then, so welcome to the Grace Church AGM. So we're thinking about the year 2021. So cast your minds back to that. And I'll try to make it as interactive as possible. So I'll just do kind of the spiritual review of the year, and then hand over to Chloe for kind of the community bit. And then we've got our lovely Josh Pike who'll do a quick, he's got 2 minutes he's recorded doing our kind of financial stuff, and then, take it from there then. But yeah, we can be as interactive as you want. So January 2021 was framed by December 2020. Profound. It's profound. But putting that into context, at the time we were gung-ho to try and meet in Swansea Ealing because we were desperate to meet together because the conditions looked kind of right at the time that we were going to be able to meet for the first time in a long time, meet there because the place was big enough. So we were making plans and stuff like that, and then as time was kind of getting closer and closer, the COVID rates in Swansea were going up and up and up through the roof. And then somebody that from another church that some of us know passed away, and he's only in his early 50s, and that was like, well, it's just not worth it, But the start of 2021 then was really disappointing because we came so close to being together after not being together for so long. It was quite painful, So that was the start of 2021. And then our Dave got really seriously ill as well. So he was battling in hospital, and that's the reality and how serious it was, So it was tough times for us as a church at that particular time when we were all praying, and unfortunately Dave's made a full recovery. Yes, there we go. There's the last COVID, a lot better. Which is fab, but it was, it was touch and go, and it was serious, So that's what we were kind of dealing with. Not just us, but as a nation, So we were still meeting on Zoom at the time, and we were going through Matthew's Gospel, which was great. It's always good to do a Gospel. Love doing a Gospel, and we will continue to try to do one Gospel a year if we can. So we covered that, and then we also did the why, the how, and the what. So we were kind of looking at the vision of the church. What is it we're all about? Why do we do what we do? Who are we? And what's our kind of purpose? And they reckon the phrase is that vision leaks. So we'll always try to kind of keep ourselves topped up with the vision so we know where we're going and we keep ourselves on track. After that then we did a series on spiritual warfare, and then we did one called the Overcomer series. Again, this is Charlotte's idea of looking at ordinary everyday people in the Bible and how they managed to overcome, because it was something that we were all kind of struggling with at the time, is just overcoming life, which was difficult. But then come May time we were able to meet together outside, which was fab. So Tea on the Lawn was happening. And it's been a real good key in terms of us as a church being able to reach out to people and see people coming in. So that particular year, it was Hannah Kay who started coming, if you're watching Hannah. Fab. A real big encouragement, because it's opened up the doors for other things then. But Tea on the Lawn was massive, and then we started doing House Group Live in July. So that's in it, July. So we were all together in the building then, spaced out. But those people who wouldn't wear... We were? Yeah. No, and we were spaced out. But everybody wearing masks and stuff like that, or visors or whatever. It's just a bizarre time to be together, but we were together, and that was the main thing. But then we come up to some of the best stuff in the year then. August. Adam, what happened in August?
August this year,
yeah, no, 2021.
Oh, 21, the miracle happened, didn't it? Philip was born.
Absolutely, yeah, little Ruben was born. Fantastic. I've never prayed so hard for a baby in my entire life, but it was what a joy and a privilege to be part of that journey with you guys, to hold us on in faith and see Ruben born. It was brilliant. So August was a particularly fab month because we had Ruben born, and we had our Ken there baptised with Sean in the sea. Priceless. I loved it, absolutely loved it. Brilliant. So that August was a great month, and then we started looking at Ephesians, and that was good. And then come October, we were back here in the Scout Hut. And Chloe's got a picture on the actual report. If anybody wants the kind of financial report that Claire did, that went off to the trustees and all that kind of stuff, you can see that. But Chloe took a selfie, and everyone's sitting here spaced out with masks on. It's like, talking to a bunch of bank robbers. It's brilliant. But that's how church was then. That's as best as we could do, and that's what we did. It's brilliant. But we've been together since then. And then, like I say, with the announcements earlier, Christmas meal in the Toby Carvery is always like a big deal. So this year, 44 of us booked in, which is fab, because it's even more than last year, which is ace. So anybody else got any more reflections on last year as a church?
I know seeing men still together, Byron. Obviously, it's that Welsh theme at the moment. I know Eid, is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have put that in my talk last week on there being our 9th birthday, that we're still here. Despite everything and everyone, we are still here, like, you know.
The song as well.
Could have. So we had our curry night on Monday in the Rose Indian, and Mike, he did the talk, Mike Adams, and he said, "Complimentary Mike Adams," and he talks like that, you know. And he had us all singing Amar Rohid in the curry house, as he do, like, you know, brilliant. But yeah, fantastic. So yeah, but we're still here, you know, and it's a testament to your faithfulness, everybody, and your stickability. You know, even today when it's freezing, and you're still here with your gloves and hats on and stuff. So fair play to you. But yeah, any more kind of reflections and stuff on the year? It was hard to kind of cast your minds back, but that's just when we kind of do our financial report and stuff like that, so it makes sense to do it in one go.
I can remember that it was the Christmas carvery that we met Bethan, and Les did the whole little chat, and that's when, you know, we met her and they were going out together, so that was really nice.
Yeah, and now they're married. Way, fantastic. Yeah, brilliant. Any others? If not, I will hand over to Chloe for our kind of community update. That's all right. Chloe's even got a PowerPoint. Yes, indeed. So I'll do a little mini big up then. So Chloe has been a faithful servant to the church, opening many doors through what she does as a community worker, which has been absolutely fantastic. We wouldn't have the opportunity to if we didn't have Chloe, really. So through her slogging away, it's been fab. Really, really good. So Chloe, talk us through 2021.
Hopefully this works, otherwise you have to press the button. Bit hard doing community work in a pandemic, not gonna lie. How do you go out and meet people and chat to people and get engaged in the community when you've got to stay indoors? Bit difficult, but I think we did really well. So looking back through things that we did, it'll remind you now, I've got a few pictures of things. Actually, we did loads of community things. You know, we tried to do stuff outside in smaller numbers, tried to adapt things that we'd done previously in a COVID-safe way. So I think we did really well. So the first thing we did was an Easter trail. So we are all mad about our Easter Legacy Church because it's one of our biggest events. And I was totally gutted that we couldn't do something more. Because we always engage with so many community members in that event. So we did a trail instead, so we set up at the church, and quite a few of us came, and some gardened while some of us were doing the community trail, and we did there were points around the community, and families started with us, and then they went on their own as their family, so in their bubble, and went on a trail, and then we gave them Easter eggs, and like we put together this craft pack, so we were still visible, we were still doing something, we showed that we were still committed to trying to do, you know, everyone's favourite event that happens, you know, including our own, through that. So we did that was awesome. Then this was a scavenger hunt we did in the park. So it was a photo scavenger hunt, they had to take pictures, and this was an event, I don't think anybody actually turned up to it. I think that, you know, from the community, I don't think anybody turned up. But we were in the park, and there was about 5 or 6 of us who could make it. And the park was really full because everyone was outside. There was nothing else that they could do. It was a lovely sunny day. And we just chatted to people in the park. We got a few families to do it. So even though maybe it was disappointing people didn't turn up ready for the photo scavenger hunt, we were able to adapt and evolve that into chatting to people and getting people involved. It was nice just for people to see, oh yeah, the Grace Church, they're still here doing something, so that was fab. Letter picks was something that we started. I love this pick, it's a good one. We did 6 litter picks in 2021. Now this is something the community have been talking about in community groups for years. We should really set up a litter pick, you know, people from the community is something really important. So, you know, you're kind of like encouraging them to, you know, I'll help you or whatever, but it never kind of came to anything. So we engage with Keep Wales Tidy. So they have little hubs in libraries around Swansea. So we just borrow the equipment from them, just got to fill in a form about how many people came, how many red bags did you fill, how many green bags did you fill for their records, and it's really easy. So we're trying to encourage community people to come along. Now, maybe they don't. They want it to happen, but they're not there to help us, but they're seeing us do it. They're seeing us care about their community, and I think, even if they don't come out sometimes, it's important that they see that we care, that we're there. We see what they think is important, and we're going after that. Games on the Grass, we did that event September 1st, because we couldn't do a fun day, so we did something on the grass at the church. We had about 30 people come along. It was absolute chaos, of the best kind. Just played games on the grass. We had tennis and a little golf set and some squash. I think me and Charlotte were really stressed that day. That's all I remember about it. But it was fun just engaging with people in that way again. And then we did 2 coffee mornings in the winter period. So when we could properly meet indoors again, I think it was then up to 50 people could meet. So we had one which was sort of the kids' cancer charity, and we did one fundraising for the church. Our usual event with the stalls, lots of cake, some people coming in with their masks on and then taking it down for a bite of cake. And then so that was great. And then, so that was all of our events in 2021. So I just want to thank you for sticking with us, because I know loads of you really love all of the community events that we do, and being able to serve and being able to chat to people in the community, because that's what church is all about, isn't it? It's about being in here, encouraged to go out there. Thank you for, the volunteering, maybe in times that were tough for us personally. I really appreciate it, and I know that we all appreciate each other for doing that as well. So then I just wanted to mention one more thing that we've got coming up again, Mercy Church in December. So if you want to help out at that, I think the one we did in the summer was really good. I think coming out of COVID, we were like, oh yes, we can go back to it all again. And maybe there wasn't so many people there as we've had at Mercy Church in the last one. But I think we had some amazing conversations. And we're learning now what we're doing. We know what works. We know that we can leave somebody to do something and go off and chat and things like that. So I really encourage you. It's an awesome way to serve and get to know people in the community. So if you can help, let me know. And that's everything from me. Yeah.
Any questions, anybody? Any comments or anything? No? Okie, right then. So I was going to bring up Josh's 2-minute financial update, as he recorded it for us.
Hello, Grace Church. Hope you're all well. If you don't know who I am, my name's Josh. I do the finances for the trustees. Technically it's called a treasurer. But as we're doing the AGM, I thought I'd give you a little financial report for 2021. Our income, our donations and what's called legacies, was £14,683 last year. And we spent 20,000. Obviously with the St Silos and some of the architectural fees, our expenditure is going to be higher than our income. But that's not a problem because we've got some money in the bank. And some of our expenditure would go on things like wages and salaries, a lot of legal and professional fees, so paying for that architect, and then things like light and heat and power for St Silos, paying the rent still from the Scout Hut, which will come to an end, insurances, all the expenses that go into running church on Sundays, and paying for teas and coffees and cups, and cakes and all sort of things like that. And then Grace Church kind of give away about £2,500 a year in what's called charitable contributions. So, I don't know, buying flowers for people and doing nice gestures and giving towards other churches and charities. So yeah, that is an overview of the year. Technically on the accounts, it reads like we made a loss of £4,000, but we're not a business. So things like that don't matter, and we have money sat in our bank. So in years where we do need to spend more than what comes in, that's not a problem. So that is the current state of affairs. If any of you have any queries or questions or anything about it, then please do give me a shout. You can get my number if you don't have it already, or Byron, or any of the leaders. And I hope you're well, and I hope you have a lovely Sunday. See you soon.
Thank you very much, Josh. So, as Josh says, we ran a loss in 2021 in terms of fees going out and stuff like that. Our most expensive thing is Chloe, in terms of our employee, which she's worth every penny, which we could pay her more. And as he says, at the minute, we're paying architectural fees and stuff like that, so that's kind of a bit more. And we lost a few people in COVID as well, kind of moved on to other places. But like he says, we do have a healthy reserve in the bank, so that we're not running at a loss, as it were. We still have kind of enough money to kind of tide us over, which is fab. But if people do want to give or give more or whatever, then that'd be fantastic. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the financial kind of aspect or anything? I mean, I can email you the report and stuff that Claire and Josh put together. It's not a problem. Yes, Josh.
I think that you said obviously we spent more this year particularly. I just wondered, do you have a sort of an amount which you keep as a sort of emergency type fund or like a ring fence fund that isn't, for such situations that you might need to pay out something?
Yeah, go for it, Sam.
So what Josh didn't mention, I suppose, is that we started the year with 50,000 in the bank.
Yeah, I knew that.
So yes, we sort of set aside and say, 10,000 of that actually is Grace Church money, which we keep in a reserve sort of situation. A lot of the other money that sits in the bank at the moment is already funding that we've gained for the building. So, that in terms of, obviously that's money that is specific to be spent on the building project. So we finished the end of the year with like 46,000 in the bank. So I think the intention is that we probably wouldn't let it go under 10,000 because obviously we've got regular outgoings in terms of like, Chloe's wages,
Yeah,
especially
that's what I
payments.
was thinking of, as far as the charities commission and that to have the percentage of your outgoings.
Yeah. So does that answer the question?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay.
Good question though, and I'm not the greatest myself in finance, so in our house Sarah sorted out like with me, so being honest, and it's not like my particular strong point as one of the trustees, which is how Josh does it, which is great. But something to pray for, please, is that the pot of funding that we went for before of £250,000, we passed the first stage of that. So they said, we're happy, we just want you to kind of give more information. So that's got to go off on Friday, I think. So we're finishing that off this week. So please pray for that, because that will go a long way to what we need in terms of, a chunk of the stuff that we can make a big start then in the building there. And once that one's gone, we can kind of focus on other stuff as well. But that one's going to be, because it's such a big chunk of money, kind of been, weighing quite heavily on us really. So, any other kind of comments or thoughts? Or... No? Everybody happy?
I didn't hear that.
So, any other comments or thoughts, Josh?
Not right now.
No. Well, that's fine. If you ever do have any questions or comments, Sarah, you're going to say something?
I'll come back.
Say it again.
Sorry, I should have just stayed here, shouldn't I? I just wanted to make a point about if you are giving, if you would consider doing that via stewardship services, because there is obviously, if you're a UK taxpayer, that is, because for every, say you give £100, £25 more could come to us as your tax. So actually we would get £125 if you did it through stewardship. So I just want to encourage anybody to explore that, because obviously we are going to be in a situation whereby we have a beautiful building that we they have to pay for the upkeep of. So any income that we can generate is a plus as far as I'm concerned. And you know, if you can consider doing that, that would be fantastic.
How do you do it?
To do stewardship services, to give that way, you just go to their website, you set up an account, and then you put a direct debit into that account, which then you're actually paying stewardship services, but then what's the word I want to say? You nominate who that money is going to go to. So once you type in Grace Church, that money then is assigned to us and it comes to us via a bank account plus the 25% extra if you're a UK taxpayer and you sign up to that programme. So that's basically how you do it. If you need any further instructions, I'm happy to send you an email with how, where and how you can get onto that system. Okay?
So in terms of the finances, Josh is the treasurer, but Sarah kind of does the day-to-day receipts for different things and stuff like that. So if you want to, then we can have a stewardship party in the house where you can come round and we can try and help you kind of talk you through those kinds of things. Any other thoughts or comments or anything on the AGM? Not? There we are.
I'm so sorry, my child is so loud.
No problem at all.
The only thing I was going to say is that the costs, we had a value for 240,000. That's gone up considerably now.
Yeah. So that's the maximum we can get out of that particular fund, is 250,000. The building itself, when we were given that quote, was 350,000, so we still got a shortfall there to do everything, so we'd have to do it in stages probably, unless we can get all the funding in and go, like, you know. But yeah, you're quite right, you know, materials and stuff have gone through the roof. So, yeah, it's, you know, tricky times. But as people keep telling me, if it's God's will, it's His bill. So, but yeah, it's right to be concerned about it, and that's why we want to try and make the building as eco-friendly as we can, so that running costs are as low as possible, you know. So
you've got through the first leg anyway.
It's
Yeah.
very promising, isn't it?
It is very promising.
Yeah,
I know.
we only had a grant, a small one for the
Right.
and if they ask questions, it's a good sign.
Yeah. So and I know another church in Morriston, they were also successful with 250,000, and they're in an area where there's a lot going on. We're in an area where there's nothing going on, so I'm more hopeful that we will secure that funding. Not that we want to put all our eggs in one basket, but it would be super helpful if we got that one, you know.
Yeah.
Fab. Yes, Adam.
Question.
Go for it.
What's what about, you know, before we had that case for funding, that big lottery grant thing, are the church going to be pursuing anything with that again? Because obviously we didn't do it before.
Yeah, I think we will.
Avenues for that again?
Yeah, definitely, because they're still sitting on a fair chunk of money, so yeah, we'll definitely kind of look to see if we can get something specific from them, whether that be insulation or windows or something like that, but that's definitely something we're considering now. It's a great question, because the money is there, you know.
It's, with that funding with the local community board members, is Emma still part of that?
She still is, and we're still looking for the part of it as well, so yeah, definitely. We'll explore any avenue, any and every one, you know, so definitely. But yeah, any thoughts that you have, definitely keep them coming. Great. Fun. Yes, Les? You go on, Ruin? Oh, you look there, a question, Ruin.
I'm just sort of keeping my hands warm.
Fantastic. There we are, then I'll press stop on the recording then, and that's the AGM.